Community shared nation's grief after 9/11 attacks. The Washington Blade writes that many in the LGBTQ community throughout the country were expected to join their friends, neighbors, and family members this week in commemorating the 20th anniversary of the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks on the New York World Trade Center's Twin Towers and on the Pentagon just outside of Washington, D.C., as well as a hijacking that ended with a crash in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. A total of 2,996 people died in the 9/11 attacks, including 19 terrorists who hijacked 4 jetliners whose passengers included Americans and citizens of 78 countries, according to History.com. For many LGBTQ residents of New York and the D.C. area, the suffering over the loss of loved ones, including some same-sex partners, was heightened a short time later when they learned they were initially ineligible for local and federal programs aimed at providing financial assistance to survivors of the victims of the 9/11 attacks, because same-sex partners were not legally recognized. Activists in New York have said the 9/11 attacks drew attention to the need for legal protections for same-sex couples, including the need for legal recognition of same-sex marriage.
We've come a long way in 20 years in terms of rights, and it's sad that people had to die for that.
Yeah, I remember, again, being a financial advisor and learning of the stories of people that were ineligible for things such as pensions and retirement benefits from their employers. And it became a big planning issue before marriage equality. And in many cases, still is a planning issue for people that have not decided to get legally married. So it's something to remember. But again, it was a tragic experience.
I'm curious, what's your reaction been on this anniversary versus previous anniversaries? Has it washed over you in any different way, or it's another September 11th?
But this still seems like, 20 years is a long time, but it's burned in my memory. It's such a vivid day, and I remember where I was, what I was doing, and so I think every year you remember, but this year, our 20th is a big number, and it's hard to.
I don't know if anybody's watched the HBO series Epicenters, which is from 9/11 through the pandemic. Yeah. And what it really highlighted to me was how we were united at that point from 9/11, and we're at this point in our history so divided by the pandemic. Yeah. So in 20 years, to have that arc and see it through the eyes of New Yorkers is very interesting.
Yeah, I read an op-ed, and very partisan. I say in advance, very partisan. But they made the observation on that of that time arc that we started with terrorism in 2001. And we ended with terrorism in 2016 with Donald Trump. And they made the connection of it went from bad to bad. And LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire